My next question has to do with the cost and efficiencies around lead generation. We are seeing a trend where people are very nervous. And this, by the way, will be a major topic at the show in Houston. So if this kind of triggers any thoughts, it might be a good reason to go and attend as well. But I haven't talked to a CEO or an executive within this industry that isn't a little bit nervous about leads this year. They're harder to come by. They're maybe the quality of them maybe aren't there as well. You got to be so much more efficient with what you have, or figure out another way to get leads, because these issued leads, they're on the rise. The price is really on the rise, going up, because they understand that they have the power, right? Leads are everything in this business. Can you share your insights from all of your experience in this industry? You've probably seen moments like this before. What is the real driving factor of the cost of these leads today, and what should companies expect here the rest of this year and maybe into the next year?
Well, I have to go back and say, how do you see, anyone listening, how do you see a lead? That the people who work for you, who get those leads, the salespeople, they're in the next level. How do they see a lead, and what do they want a lead to be? And some of the rationale is impossible. If you ask a salesperson, what's wrong right now? Tell us how we can do more to help you sell more. You'll say two things. Well, first of all, we need better leads. And secondly, we got to lower our prices. Because that's fundamentally
every time
what people think. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So let me say that there are all kinds of leads. The lead that you like is the one who come up and says, my brother-in-law had work done on his property, you people did, and he speaks the world over. Yeah, come out and look at my work and tell me what we have to do to get this work put on our house. Ideal. Well, you don't get many that shout like that. Now you get some that are similar that say, well, I'm not sure, I don't know. I saw your ad on television, or I saw your ad at a home show, or a fair, or direct mail, whatever that might be. And that is a more nebulous, that's a less definite lead. And it requires getting that lead and converting it to an appointment. Now, appointment should be with the people who own the home for a specific time, allowing sufficient time to present your product or service, cultivated with giving them an accurate proposal on what their investment might be. And that all comes after you have convinced them that their contact with you, your contact with them, is important, and you build something that is called rapport. Now I'm going to come back to this, but rapport starts with the first indicator. How did the people get in touch with you? Did they see your job somewhere? Did they see you at a home show? Did they see your truck someplace? Did they hear about you through whatever source? And you get them on the phone. Your phone is answered wrong. 90% of the time, your phone is answered wrong. And the person taking the phone doesn't understand that their job is to build rapport, make those people feel happy. If your phone is answered by some sort of a robot which says, if you're interested in a customer relationship, press 1. If you're interested in it, press 2. If you want to talk to the teacher, press 3. I'm being disrespectful, I know, but that person needs to be retrained. The person that's calling in is valuable. They're giving you their time, their interest, and saying, help me. Now, they don't say it that way. They say, all we want is a price. Well, we don't want a lot of all this stuff.
Right.
And all we want is a price. Now, anybody who's been in the business for a while will tell you they're having trouble converting those leads to a good lead, what they say, a good lead, where both parties will be there. That's because they're using the wrong language and they're telling someone how to think. That won't work. So there's a French expression, raison d'être, and raison d'être is the reason to be. This person has called you. Your reason to be is to make them feel rewarded for calling you. So instead of saying, XYZ Construction Company, how may I help you? We say, Thank you for calling XYZ Construction. How may I direct your call? Now take those words. They come out of something called neuro-linguistic programming. That's putting you in power before me. When we ask the question, so how long have you been thinking about this project? When did you buy your home? What have you had done on your home before? What prompted you to call us? I'm going to give you 5, 7, 9, 10 questions. You'll hear them in our program that make the people want to have someone like you come to their home. And when you come to the home, you should have a lead, and the salesperson who gets the lead should be given the lead with no power in his mind to call those people in advance. No power. Why is that? Because he wants too much out of this. He wants to know if this is a good lead. He wants to know if it's a bad lead. And how does he judge a good or a bad lead? By some things that people say. We're not going to buy anything right now. We're just interested in getting prices. That's not a good lead. My brother-in-law had the work done for him. That's a good lead. They're all good leads. The difference between a good and a bad lead is the way it's handled. And most people don't take the lead incorrectly. And the person who builds the lead doesn't go beyond what they already know. Be nice, be humble, be sweet, be nice, and the people will like you. Not true. You have to be saying things from a script that encourage, and it's not that hard to do. And when the salesperson gets to the house, he has to follow the script. And so we teach a concept called customer satisfaction selling. I'll repeat it. Customer satisfaction selling. It is taught by the way of what we call step selling. What are the steps? First step is taking in the lead and so forth and so on. The last part of the step is getting the order. This is called step selling. Many people will tell you we do step selling. Well, I'd like to know what you do. What are the steps and how are these all important to the customer? I am trying to think now. I introduced step selling in this industry in 1962, and I didn't invent it. I saw it first at National Cash Register, and at one time they were the top business sales organization. And I was doing a speech in Dayton, Ohio, and they took me to their sales training center. And the president of that company said something that has been emblazoned in my memory. And by the way, anything you hear, the listener, the viewer, write it down, because ideas flit in and out of your consciousness. Write it down and then repeat it and look at it again next week, next month. And when you're going to build on it, go to the dictionary, go to some book to find out what some of the words mean that you're not familiar with. But here's what that president said. People don't buy cash registers. They buy what cash registers will do for them. Now, I want you to think about this. There has never been an industry like ours. $350 billion a year. Who knows where the figures all come from? We see all the surveys. We also take hundreds of surveys every year to see what's happening in the various marketplaces. But we say this is a big industry. But most of the time, we don't act like big companies. We don't do things in a big company fashion. Do it in a big company fashion, but all the way in between and down to the bottom, be highly customer-oriented, think like they think. So now you get to the lead. And that lead, based on where it comes from, our most recent survey, could cost you as low as, we use fully loaded lead cost. That means anything in your business which contributes to the cost. You might have a showroom. You might paint your trucks. You may put up job signs. You may have a calling system. You may have whatever it is that you have. That is a marketing cost. And you get a certain cost that comes with the intaking of the lead. You had to spend so much just to get the lead to that point. Now, that's important to designate how much did each of these leads cost based on your total marketing cost. Some marketing programs are better than others, and you go to one home show and you do great, and you go to another one, you do lousy, but they all are expensed the same. So you get the cost of an incoming lead. Now, how many of them can you issue? Do you have a script that intelligently says things to people who want to have you in their house? Well, the second point is how many can we issue? And then of the issued, how many do we get in the house to make a total presentation? And then when we make the total presentation, how many of them do we close? So we analyzed the cost of an intake lead, the cost of an issued lead, the cost of a sit lead when we can actually make a presentation, and the cost of the lead when the deal is sold. But it is complex. The cost in our last survey are from low as $250 per lead, raw lead. All the way, and I beg your pardon, that's issued lead, all the way up to over $1,000. Not unusual today, anywhere from $500 to $900 for an issued lead. If you got 6 salesmen working for you and you got a $500 lead, right now, if you gave them all one, that's $3,000.
Yeah.
Now, if you do that 6 times a week, that's 18 grand.